Hello, dear boys. Today, let us do fifth chapter of geography. The name of the topic is industries. Have you ever given a thought to the fact that the notebook you use for writing has come to you after a long process of manufacturing? It started its life as part of a tree. It was cut down and transported to the pulp mill. There, the wood of the tree was processed and converted into wood pulp. The wood pulp was mixed with chemicals and finally changed into paper by machines. This paper found its way to the press where ink made from chemicals was used to print the lines on the pages. The pages were then bound in the form of a notebook, packed and sent to the market for sale. Finally, it reached your hands. See, boys, in this very paragraph, it means what that means the process how we get paper and on which that means we are writing. Have you ever given a thought to the fact that the notebook which you use for writing, it has come to you after a long process of manufacturing? It started its life as part of a tree. So you see here, uh, this notebook, it started its life as part of a tree at first. The tree was cut down and transported to the pulp mill. There, in the mill, the wood of the tree was processed and converted into wood pulp. So it is there in the mill, and in the mill that means it converted into wood pulp. The wood pulp was mixed with chemicals and finally changed into paper by machines. So this wood pulp, it was mixed with chemicals and at last it changed into paper by these machines. This paper found its way to the press where ink made from chemicals was used to print the lines on the pages. So this paper, after making that paper, it found its way to the press. It reached to the press where in the press ink made from chemicals was used in order to print the lines on the pages. The pages were then bound in the form of a notebook. So there are several pages. It formed a notebook packed and sent to the market for sale. So after making that notebook, it packed and sent to the market for selling, and at last it reached from different shops in your hands, and you are able to write on that notebook. So this is the story how paper we get. Secondary activities or manufacturing change raw materials into products of more value to people. As you have seen, pulp was changed into paper and paper into a notebook. These represent the two stages of the manufacturing process. Here, secondary activities or manufacturing one changes raw materials into products or more value to people. When that means it is manufactured, change raw materials into products of more useful, okay, or it has more value to the people. As you have seen, pulp was changed into paper and paper into a notebook. As you have seen that pulp, it was changed into paper and again this paper into a notebook. This represents the two stages of the manufacturing process. It represents what here? The two stages of the manufacturing process. The paper made from pulp and cloth made from cotton have had value added to them at each stage of the manufacturing process. In this way, the finished product has more value and utility. Finished product means when it is ready for using. That is called finished product, children. So when it is finished or ready to use, it has more value and utility. Utility means useful than the raw material that it is made from. So after that means making it finally when it is ready for use, at the time its utility it increases than the raw material that it is made from. Industry. Industry refers to an economic activity that is concerned with production of goods, extraction of minerals, or the provision of services. But you mark it, okay? In case it asks, that means industry. What does industry refer? You have to say industry refers to an economic activity that is concerned with production of goods, extraction of minerals, or the provision of services. Thus, we have iron and steel industry, production of goods here. Coal mining industry, extraction of coal. And tourism industry, service provider. Classification of industries. Industries can be classified on the basis of raw materials, size, and ownership. Boys, industry can be classified into the following heads which has given here. It is based on raw materials, based on size, and based on ownership. So let us discuss in details one by one of each class. Before starting this, you see boys, have a look towards, that means the left side or left margin of your book. Trace the journey of your shirt from a cotton field to your wardrobe. That means you yourself, you know that how to trace it. Now let us see raw materials. It is one of the classification of industries. Based on raw material, these industries are classified here. Industries may be agro-based, mineral-based, marine-based, and forest-based depending on type of raw materials they use. So here in this raw material we find industries, it may based on agriculture or mineral or marine or forest. It depends on the type of raw materials they use. Agro-based industries use plant and animal-based products as their raw materials. See, agro-based industries are those industries which use plant and animal products as their raw materials. Food processing, vegetable oil, cotton textile, dairy products, and leather industries are examples of agro-based industries. These are all examples of agro-based industries, boys. What are agro-based industries? Give example. That may ask you. You must know it. Now let us see the second kind, that is mineral-based industries. Mineral-based industries are primary industries that use mineral ores as their raw materials. The products of these industries feed other industries. Iron made from iron ore is the product of mineral-based industries. This is used as raw material for the manufacture of a number of other products such as heavy machinery, building materials, and railway coaches. Here in this head, you see in the mineral-based industries, these are primary industries that use mineral ores as their raw materials. To run these industries, mineral ores are required. The products of these industries feed other industries. So the product of these mineral based industries, they feed other industries. Other industries cannot survive without them. Iron made from iron ore is the product of mineral based industries. Iron, it is made from iron ore, and this iron ore is the product of mineral based industries. This is used as raw material for the manufacture of a number of other products, and you see this iron is used as raw material for the manufacture of a number of other things such as heavy machinery, building materials, and railway coaches. These are only possible with the help of this iron. Now let us see the next one, that is marine based industries. Marine based industries use products from the sea and ocean as raw materials. Industries processing sea food or manufacturing fish oil are some examples. Marine based industries which based on here water most probably. These marine based industries use products from the sea and oceans, remember, as their raw materials. Industries processing seafood, food which are, that means found in the sea, or manufacturing fish oil are examples of marine based industries. Now let us see the last one, that is forest based industries. Forest based industries utilize forest produce as raw materials. Utilize means use. Forest based industries are those industries which use forest produce as raw materials. Raw materials here is forest produce, okay? The things it produces in the forest. The industries associated with forests are pulp and paper, pharmaceuticals, furniture, and buildings. So these industries associated with forests are pulp and paper, pharmaceuticals, furniture, and buildings. Now let us see size. First one we find here, based on raw materials, it has been categorized as agro-based, mineral-based, marine-based, forest-based industries. Boys, you must remember this chapter. I think it will be again helpful for you in class 10 also. So you must know it based on raw materials. What are the classification of industries based on raw materials? If it asks, you have to say the classification of industries based on raw materials are agro-based industries, mineral-based industries, marine-based industries, and forest-based industries. Now, based on size, let us see. It refers to the amount of capital invested, number of people employed, and volume of production. Based on these three heads, this industry is based. Okay, the first one is it refers to the amount of capital invested. Second one, number of people employed, number of people who are working there, and the volume of production. Based on size, industries can be classified into small scale and large scale industries. This one also you must know. Okay, what is the classification of industries based on size? If it asks, you have to say Based on size, industries can be classified into small scale and large scale industries. Cottage or household industries are a type of small scale industry where the products are manufactured by hand by the artisans. You see, cottage industries or household industries are those industries, okay, in which what happen, small scale, they are small scale industry where the products are manufactured by hand by artisans. Machinery, not the machine is not used here. Basket, weaving, pottery, and other handicrafts are examples of cottage industry. So our Manipur is also famous for cottage industry, boys. So small scale industry use lesser amount of capital and technology as compared to large scale industries that produce large volumes of products. See, small scale industries, it use lesser amount of capital. Money is much money is not necessary here, and technology also less technology it is required as compared to large scale industries which produce large volumes of products. Investment of capital is higher and the technology used is superior in large scale industries. Differentiate between a small scale industry and a large scale industry. You can differentiate here. You can, that means, write nicely. You just get through this. Silk weaving and food processing industries are small scale industries. Production of automobiles and heavy machinery are large scale industries. See the examples of each of the two. Okay, it is given here. You must be clear here. Now, based on ownership, industries can be classified into private sector, state owned or public sector, joint sector, and cooperative sector. Now, first of all, let us see here private sector industries. Private sector industries are owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals. Private name it indicates its meaning. So, private sector industries are those industries which are owned and operated by individuals, one's own self, okay, or a group of individuals. The public sector industries are owned and operated by the government. But public sector industries, these are owned and operated by the government, such as Hindustan Aeronautics Limited and Steel Authority of India Limited. Joint sector industries are owned and operated by the state and individuals or a group of individuals. Maruti Udyog Limited is an example of joint sector industry. Then cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of raw materials, workers or both. Anand Milk Union Limited and Shudha Dairy are success stories of a cooperative venture. See here, uh, it has discussed about joint sector industry and cooperative sector industries, and then example of both of these you must know it, and what is joint sector industry, what is cooperative sector industry, that one also you must know with example of each type. Now, factors affecting location of industries. Industries cannot set up each and every places. There are some factors which affect the location of these industries. Now, let us see their factors. The factors affecting the location of industries are the availability of raw material, land, water, labor, power, capital, transport, and market. So these are the factors which affect the location of industries. You just tick mark it and learn by heart what are the factors that affect the location of industries. You mark it and learn it. Industries are situated where some or all of these factors are easily available. So industries are situated where all the above mentioned factors are easily available. Sometimes the government provides incentives like subsidized power, lower transport cost, and other infrastructure so that industries may be located in backward areas. Industrialization often leads to development and growth of towns and cities. So time to time government they used to provide incentives to those industries. Okay, they subsidize power, lower transport cost, and other infrastructure in order to that industries may be located in backward areas. Industrialization often leads to development and growth of towns and cities. So industrialization it often leads to develop and growth of towns and cities. If any industry established, you will find that surrounding area it developed in a very good way. So what mean here? Industrial system. An industrial system consists of inputs, processes, and outputs. The inputs are the raw materials, labor, and cost of land, transport, power, and other infrastructure. The processes include a wide range of activities that convert the raw material into finished products. The outputs are the end product and the income earned from it. In case of the textile industry, the inputs may be cotton, human labor, factory and transport cost. The processes include ginning, spinning, weaving, dyeing and printing. The output is the shirt you wear. Here you see input and output of this industrial system. It is described and the process says that means you find here uh, that gaining, spinning, weaving, dyeing, and you know that change the color and printing. The output is the shirt you wear. So after doing all these things, that means we get shirt, okay, which we wear. Industrial regions. Industrial regions emerge when a number of industries locate close to each other and share the benefits of their closeness. Industrial regions, it emerges here. How you see when a number of industries is located close to each other and share the benefits of their closeness. Major industrial regions of the world are Eastern North America, Western and Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Eastern Asia. Major industrial regions tend to be located in the temperate areas near seaports and especially near coal fields. See here, major industrial regions tend most probably to be located in the temperate areas or near seaports. For that means transporting the finished products, okay, or to import raw materials and other things for that purpose, and especially near coal fields. India has several industrial regions like Mumbai, Pune cluster, Bangalore, Tamil Nadu region, Hooghly region, Ahmedabad, Baroda region, Chotanagpur industrial belt, Visakhapatnam, Guntur belt, Gurgaon, Delhi, Meerut, region and the Kollam Thiruvananthapuram industrial cluster. Cluster means group. Here in our country, India, we have several industrial regions which is given here under. Again, you see, boys, inside the box, industrial disaster has written. You get through this when it happened, and that means it is very hazardous, boys. It says the life of people when it happened, in which year, at what time. You just read it. Now let us see to the next page. Here also the industrial disasters it is given. You read out this one also. Okay, risk reduction measures. You just get through this. Now let us see distribution of major industries. The world's major industries are the iron and steel industry, the textile industry, and the information technology industry. These are world's major industries. The iron and steel and textile industry are the older industries, while information technology is an emerging industry. Among these industries, you find iron and steel and textile industries. These are older industries. On the other hand, information technology is an emerging industry. The countries in which iron and steel industry is located are Germany, USA, China, Japan, and Russia. Textile industry is concentrated in India, Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, and Taiwan. The major hubs means the central part of information technology industry are the Silicon Valley of Central California and the Bangalore region of India. Iron and steel industry. Like other industries, iron and steel industry too comprises various inputs, processes and outputs. This is a feeder industry whose products are used as raw material for other industries. You see, feeder, that means they used to feed other industry. Because of this, it says they are feeder. This is a feeder industry whose products are used as raw material by other industries. The inputs for the industry include raw materials such as iron ore, coal, and limestone, along with labor, capital, site, and other infrastructure. Infrastructure means basic physical or organizational structure. The process of converting iron ore into steel involves many stages. Many stages it involves here. The process of converting iron ore into steel. The raw material is put in the blast furnace where it undergoes smelting. Blast furnace means a smelting furnace in the form of a tower where it undergoes smelting. Smelting means the extraction of metal from its ore by a process involving heating and melting. It is then refined. The output obtained is steel, which may be used by other industries as raw material. Here, you see, it is then refined here, and then from at final stage, the output obtained is steel. We get this steel, which may be used by other industries as raw material. Again, this steel finally we can utilize it for our different work. Steel is tough. Tough means strong, and it can easily be shaped, cut, or made into wire Special alloys of steel can be made by adding small amounts of other metals such as aluminum, nickel, and copper. Alloys give steel unusual hardness, toughness, or ability to resist rust. Here you see using of steel in different ways. Okay, so you can cut it, you can sap it, still we can cut it, sap it, and made it into wire. Special alloys of steel can be made by adding small amounts of other metals as aluminum, nickel, and copper. Alloys give steel unusual hardness. Unusual means not commonly. Hardness, toughness, strong enough is no toughness, or ability to resist rust, ability to effect rust. Steel is often called the backbone of modern industry. Still, it is always called the backbone of modern industries. It is because of steel. It is used for uh, our industries for any construction or making there. That's why it becomes the backbone of modern industry. Almost everything we use is either made of iron or steel or has been made with tools and machinery of these metals. Ships, trains, trucks, and autos are made largely of steel. So these are the products we can make with the help of steel metal. Even the safety pins and the needles you use are made of steel. Here you can see right from needles or safety pin up to big ships, all are made of steel. Importance of steel or how it becomes the backbone of modern industry, you can imagine here. Oil wells are drilled with steel machinery. Steel pipelines transport oil. Minerals are mined with steel equipment. Farm machines are mostly steel. Large buildings have steel framework. So these are the importance of steel, boys. Before 1800 AD, iron and steel industry was located where raw materials, power supply, and running water were easily available. So before 1800 AD, this iron and steel industry, it was located in those places where raw materials for steel industry, power supply, and running water were easily available. Later, the ideal location for the industry was near coal fields and close to canals and railways. After 1950, iron and steel industry began to be located on large areas of flat land near seaports. So port facility is also required for this industry. So after 1950, iron and steel industry began to be located on large areas of flat and near seaports. This is because by this time steel works had become very large and iron ore had to be imported from overseas. Overseas means across the sea. In India, iron and steel industry has developed taking advantage of raw materials, cheap labor, transport and market. All the important steel producing centers such as Bhilai, Durgapur, Banpur, Jamshedpur, Rourkela, Bokaro are situated in a region that spreads over four states. They are West Bengal, Jharkhand, Odisha, and Chhattisgarh, Bhadravati, and Vijayanagar in Karnataka, Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh, Salem in Tamil Nadu are other important steel centers utilizing local resources. See the location of this steel industry in different part of our India. You have to know this, boys, and what are required for establishment of this iron and steel industry. That one also you must know. Now let us see Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur, before 1947, there was only one iron and steel plant in the country. It is Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited, TISCO. It was privately owned. I mean, before independence, okay. But after independence, the government took the initiative and set up several iron and steel plants. So, after independence, the government, our Indian government, they took the ability to assess and initiate things independently and set up several iron and steel plants. TISCO was started in 1907 at Sakchi near the confluence of the rivers Suvarnarekha and Kharkai in Jharkhand. Later on, Sakchi was renamed as Jamshedpur. Geographically, Jamshedpur is the most conveniently situated iron and steel center in the country. You boys mark the last sentence. Geographically, this Jamshedpur is the most conveniently situated. Okay, it is very suitable for iron and steel center in the country. Here, next page in the map. Also, it has mentioned location of iron and steel industry in Jamshedpur. Sakchi was chosen to set up the steel plant for several reasons. There are many reasons why this Sakchi was chosen to set up this steel plant. This place was only 32 kilometers away from Kalimati station on the Bengal Nagpur railway line. It was close to the iron ore, coal and manganese deposits as well as to Kolkata, which provided a large market. TISCO gets coal from Jaria coalfields and iron ore, limestone, dolomite, and manganese from Odisha and Chhattisgarh. The Kharkai and Suvarnarekha rivers ensure sufficient water supply. Government initiatives provided adequate capital for its later development. So you see the location, what are necessary here for establishment of this industry. It has mentioned here, and government they also provided adequate capitals for its later development. In Jamshedpur, several other industrial plants were set up after TISCO. They produce chemicals, locomotive parts, agricultural equipment, machinery, tin plate, cable, and wire. The development of the iron and steel industry opened the doors to rapid industrial development in India. It has progressed. You see here the development of this iron and steel industry. It opened the doors, doors towards rapid industrial development in our country. Almost all sectors of the Indian industry depend heavily on the iron and steel industry for their basic infrastructure. So, infrastructure means physical and organizational structures and facilities here. Here, almost all sectors of Indian industry they depend heavily on the iron and steel industry for their basic infrastructure. The Indian iron and steel industry consists of large integrated steel plants as well as mini steel mills. It also includes secondary producers, rolling mills, and ancillary industries. Pittsburgh, it is an important steel city of the United States of America. The steel industry at Pittsburgh enjoys locational advantages. Locational advantages it used to get by this important steel city of United States of America. Some of the raw materials such as coal is available locally, while the iron ore comes from the iron mines at Minnesota, about 1,500 kilometers from Pittsburgh. Between these mines and Pittsburgh is one of the world's best routes for shipping ore cheaply. The famous Great Lakes Waterway trains carry the ore from the Great Lakes to the Pittsburgh area. The Ohio, the Monongahela, and Allegheny rivers provide adequate water supply. So, water necessary for establishing this industry it is found here. So, it make possible to set up or to function very smoothly this industry of Pittsburgh. Today, very few of the large steel mills are in Pittsburgh itself. They are located in the valleys of the Monongahela and Allegheny rivers above Pittsburgh and along the Ohio River below it. Finished steel is transported to the market by both land and water routes. Finished steel which is ready for use. It is used to transport it to the market by both land and water routes. The Pittsburgh area has many factories other than steel mills. These use steel as their raw material to make many different products such as railroad equipment, heavy machinery, and rails. See here, this Pittsburgh area it has many factories apart from steel mills. This use steel as their raw material in order to make many different products such as for making this railroad equipment, heavy machinery and rails. Cotton textile industry. Weaving cloth from yarn is an ancient art. Cotton, wool, silk, jute, flax have been used for making cloth. So these are the materials which are used for making cloth. The textile industry can be divided on the basis of raw materials used in them. Fibers are the raw materials of textile industry. Fibers it is used for making clothes. So fibers it become raw material of textile industry. Fibers can be natural or man-made. Natural fibers are obtained from wool, silk, cotton, linen, and jute. Boys, you mark this natural fiber. Okay, what are these natural fiber? You have to know this. Wool, silk, cotton, linen, and jute. And man-made fibers include nylon, polyester, acrylic, and rayon. They are made by men. That's why they are called man-made fibers. If I ask, that means give two examples of man-made fibers. You have to write any two from here or name any two man-made fibers. You have to write from here. Okay. The cotton textile industry is one of the oldest industries in the world. Just tick mark it. Cotton textile, it is one of the oldest industries in the world. Till the industrial revolution in the 18th century, cotton cloth was made using hand spinning techniques with the help of wheels and looms. These looms, that means it is used in our Manipur also for making different clothes like as shawl, fanek, napkins, etc. Okay. In 18th century, power looms facilitated the development of cotton textile industry, first in Britain and later in other parts of the world. Today, India, China, Japan, and the USA are important producers of cotton textile. So, you see, uh, today our India, China, Japan, and the USA, they are the important producers of cotton textile. India has a glorious tradition of producing excellent quality cotton textiles. Our country, it has a glorious tradition from long back, remember boys. People of foreign country, they like cotton cloth of our India. Before the British rule, Indian hand spun and hand woven cloth already had a wide market. The muslins of Dhaka, chintzes of Masulipatam, calicos of Calicut, and gold wrought cotton of Burhanpur, Surat, and Vadodara were known worldwide for their quality and design. But the production of hand woven cotton textile was expensive and time consuming. Hence, traditional cotton textile industry could not face the competition from the new textile mills of the West, which produced cheap and good quality fabrics through mechanized industrial units. The first successful mechanized textile mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. Come on, underline this one also. When was the first successful mechanized textile mill established in our country and where? The warm, moist climate, a port for importing machinery, availability of raw material, and skilled labor resulted in rapid expansion of the industry in the region. So these are the factors which resulted in a rapid expansion of the industry in the region. Have a look towards right side, boys. Do you know the first textile mill in the country was established at Fort Gloucester near Kolkata in 1818, but it closed down after some time. So some fact it has given, boys. Either that means to your left side of your uh, piece of different pages or right margin of different pages. You must read it. Initially, this industry flourished in the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat because of favorable humid climate. She initially means at first this industry it developed in the states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. It is because of favorable humid climate. But today humidity can be created artificially and raw cotton is a pure and not wet losing raw material. So this industry has spread to other parts of India. Coimbatore, Kanpur, Chennai, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Kolkata, Ludhiana, Puducherry, and Panipat are some of the other important centers. These are other important centers. Okay, we find this about this industry. Now have a look this again. Do you know about one third of the Indian textile industry's total production is exported? It used to export. It means send outside of the country. Ahmedabad. It is located in Gujarat on the banks of the Sabarmati River. The first mill was established in 1859. Boys, you mark it. When was the first mill? You see, it was established in the year 1859. It soon became the second largest textile city of India. After Mumbai, Ahmedabad was therefore often referred to as the Manchester of India. Favorable locational factors were responsible for the development of the textile industry in Ahmedabad. You see, favorable, that means conditions, okay, or locational factors were responsible in order to develop of the textile industry in Ahmedabad. Ahmedabad is situated very close to cotton growing area. This ensures means makes sure easy availability of raw material. The climate is ideal for spinning and weaving. The flat terrain and easy availability of land is suitable for the establishment of the mills. The densely populated states of Gujarat and Maharashtra provide both skilled and semi-skilled labor. Well-developed road and railway network permits easy transportation of textiles to different parts of the country, thus providing easy access to the market. Mumbai port, nearby facilities, import of machinery, and export of cotton textiles. See, these are the factors. Okay, which made that means suitable for the location of this industry here in Ahmedabad. But in the recent years, Ahmedabad textile mills have been having some problems. Several textile mills have closed down. This is primarily due to the emergence of new textile centers in the country as well as non-upgradation of machines and technology in the mills of Ahmedabad. You see, what are the hindrance, or that means which are facing by these Ahmedabad textile mills? It is because of the emergence of new textile centers in the country as well as non-upgradation of machines and technology in the mills of Ahmedabad. Osaka. It is an important textile center of Japan, also known as the Manchester of Japan. The textile industry developed in Osaka due to several geographical factors. The extensive plain around Osaka ensured that land was easily available for the growth of cotton mills. Warm, humid climate is well suited to spinning and weaving. The river Yodo provides sufficient water for the mills. Labor is easily available. Location of port facilities important. Facilities import of raw cotton and for exporting textiles. Sorry, boys. See, these are the factors you have to know, boys. The textile industry at Osaka depends completely upon imported raw materials. Cotton is imported from Egypt, India, China, and USA. The finished product is mostly exported and has a good market due to good quality and low price. Though it is one of the important textile cities in the country, of late, the cotton textile industry of Osaka has been replaced by other industries. It has been replaced by other industries. Other industries flourished there, such as iron and steel, machinery, shipbuilding, automobiles, electrical equipment, and cement. Such industries, it has replaced this. Okay. So, boys, here is the end of the chapter. Thank you all.